here we go. On to the Rift for game number 2. All right, pretty even as far as the fan chants. It'd be my assessment here. Although I'm not entirely sure whose side of the Rift we are on. FREDIT BRION's side of the Rift. Sorry, side of the Rift. Side of LoL Park. So maybe they were accentuated a little by my positioning.
Yeah.
However, did seem pretty even. FREDIT BRION fans, pretty passionate. Love to see it. Even though they have already been removed from playoffs contention, still keeping the hearts of all of the fans.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. The UI will come back. There it is.
Welcome
we were
back,
classic
UI.
for a second, and then we went back to the LCK version.
Ooh, Rascal's already taken some damage here, so FREDIT BRION with a huge lead. Ignore the fact that KT are currently sitting on 0.1k.
Yeah,
gold.
if you multiply the damage KT has done by infinity, it would never stack up to how much FREDIT BRION has done this game.
Yeah, exactly. So that is an exorbitantly huge lead, Wolf.
Yeah. Well, in terms of how this game is going to play out, like, you know, in terms of the strength of the Sivir, it is also, in some ways, a stronger composition here for FREDIT BRION than last time because they have Poppy. So that was one of the big things that changed in the draft. FREDIT BRION decided we're willing to give the Zeri over because we still have Sivir available. We still feel pretty good about our ability to control this lane, and you should because you made this choice last game too. So as a result, if Poppy can make the big plays, if Umpty can come down here and look for some picks, you know, the fact that Karma can push this lane could end up being a detriment here to KT if they push it at the wrong time without Skarner support. And even in a straight-up 3v3, the Skarner is never going to be as strong as a Poppy until he hits 6. You know, it's just how he works. He's not going to have a Spire in the middle of that bottom lane, so
Yep.
just not going to be a fight he can take. So, you know, as a result, FREDIT BRION have a little bit more power to actually snowball this bottom side and get some early leads there. It's going to be about execution.
Well, Cuz is going to put some vision down, and you can see that they've got a bit of a line here, trying to keep their eye on where Umpty is going to be. This ward not going to be here for too much longer, as Umpty's dealing with his red buff. Delight takes a mantraed Q from Life. That means that, you know, this lane was always going to be difficult. Range versus melee, Leona versus Karma. You know, it's just one of these things, tale as old as time. But the utility of the Karma will certainly be there as the game goes on, and Delight on an engaged champion is always kind of what you want as a FREDIT BRION fan.
Notice the ping instantly as Umpty sees that he is spotted, and they're going to try to just identify where Cuz is at all times. And the line of vision that you were talking about that's set up for KT is so they can push safely on the bottom side. Cuz is here. They know exactly where Umpty is. And of course, with the control around this Drake pit here that Skarner's got, that he can actually challenge Umpty there in that isolated battle at this point in time. So just kind of playing the jungle a little bit slower here is Cuz, and it will come at the cost of some of his farm. But it's 100% worth it because the value you get bottom side.
5-2 for the Skarner here actually has been quite successful, as also manages to get full vision on what Umpty's doing as well. As, all right, Delight is just going to decide to go in here as Life has been lit on fire. Delight going to take the favor returned, as Henna is going to lose out on the trade in the end because Life has his mantra back off cooldown. And KT and FREDIT BRION certainly playing aggressively here towards the bottom side.
Yeah, some pots chugged here on both sides. Life still holding on to one biscuit as well, and we'll be able to actually trade up with that extra regen they have with those recovery items. So Henna here very low. They will push this wave in, of course, in the trade, and that's going to give them a little bit more space down here on the bottom side. Looks like they want to go for an early back here. But so far, so good for KT. I think Cuz has played this early part very nicely around that extra vision, pushes Umpty away, spots Umpty going over to Krug, so then they can stay there. And, you know, the aggressive trade that happens doesn't get any summoners outside of the Ignite because KT know that Umpty isn't nearby. If they didn't know that he was, you know, was there or not, like, they might actually have flashed there. Might have actually tried to use some summoners to get away, knowing Poppy might be looking for a charge. But with that extra vision, they just go, okay, we'll take this trade, back off. You've got the early back, but we'll just match it now. And no flashes expended here on KT's side.
Yep. All things pretty quiet at this stage of the game. we do need to mention the scorpion in the room, Wolf, and that is, once again, Phase Rush Skarner has been picked up by Cub.
Oh, yeah, he did it. I didn't even notice at first.
We've seen, I want to get the win rate of Phase Rush versus Predator Skarner. I'm pretty sure Predator Skarner is 100% win rate. Of course, that, I believe, has some peanut problems as far as the accuracy of the stat is concerned. I'm just not a huge fan of the Phase Rush in comparison to Predator. I feel like Predator is far more consistent.
Yeah, I mean, there are arguments for both. We've made a lot, but I personally prefer Predator just because the function of Skarner is to grab somebody that you're running at. Don't need the Phase Rush as much. It's going to be useful for getting away, but you're not trying to get away usually.
Yep. That's okay. He's
going
to say, now get out of here.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, the bottom side control has been pretty nice here for aiming and life. You know, Karma basically has her ultimate from level 1, has that wave clear, and is going to just straight up be able to win you some of those trades. And without without Umpty being able to make a Peanut-esque level of performance here on this Poppy pick here early, then, you know, with Cuz hovering around, setting up all that extra vision, this Silver pick hasn't gotten the value they wanted. His ult comes out.
Yeah, Rascal's looking for it. He finds none of the Rams and will therefore just walk away. He had 450 health, so I guess, you know, it's kind of all right, sitting on a balmy cinder. But just thought that he might be able to take Morgan down there. The Ghost was on cooldown, so he thought like it was going to be in his avenue. Doesn't actually work out that way, as Rascal does head home. He'll teleport back as FREDIT BRION are taking this first Drake. Atlas is going to be denied his Cloud Drake, which of course makes me very sad. So sad I spoke in the third person.
Yeah. See what the soul ends up being. It's not going to be Infernal back-to-back. We know that now, as that one has been revealed. And the teleport's used for Rascal. Morgan, you know, neither of these champions have it here. It's going to be kind of a calmer route to this fight over Herald, where it's going to be a lot about Rascal getting that ultimate back online. 30 seconds to go before this spawns. KT trying to set up for this first, getting some extra vision, setting up Scuttle right now. Without the Rascal ultimate, tough fight to take, but if they could slow this down, obviously he'll have that one back up, and will definitely be something that KT could look to contest here. Otherwise, you know, if they can force Henna to back, come over, then maybe Zeri can get a play bottom side. There are a lot of ways that KT, this game around, they did not have last game to actually contest for this one way or another trade on the map.
Yeah, Aiming actually trading pretty nicely here, utilizing the Inspire Shield to avoid a lot of the boomerang damage. Very nicely done here by the Zeri in the early stage. Henna with the level advantage, though, as we can see. Extendo Beam not quite clipping the wall the way Aiming wanted it to there.
Yep. Delight still level 5. Not going to be able to look for any crazy engages here in the lane. Will not hit that Zenith Blade either.
I think Aiming wanted him to. Was trying to take him underneath
like,
the
please,
turret.
Please come over here.
Yeah.
As Umpty will come over here and take the Spire back away from Cuz. And Rascal's ultimate, you know, the timing of this, a little bit unfortunate. He tries to go for that solo kill attempt top side. It gets out a Ghost, but his ultimate not being up here is really unfortunate for this fight. Is KT coming over very slowly here.
Yeah, however, they do have Weaver's Wall if Vikla really wants to get in there. However, they don't have a Skarner. So this should just go over to FREDIT BRION. And yeah, Rascal sees it, but he's just going to see it die. So FREDIT BRION taking themselves the first 2 neutral objectives of the game. And KT kind of flobbing it. And yeah, that ult used by Rascal is even more curious now.
Yeah, I mean, if you can buy time there on the Drake, or you look for the Weaver's Wall early and slow it down, and Zeri's bottom side pushing the wave, and then you force Henna up, there's a lot of ways you could play this macro-wise where you're like, okay, you know, ult's coming up. I hope you guys are tracking that, because we're going to look for a fight here. Then you get value elsewhere, or, you know, you look for the actual fight itself, which is not a terrible one for KT in this draft. Cuz doesn't even ult when Umpty uses his, and, you know, just a free Herald.
Oh, there's on the hunt, and yep, you just press Q, and then you steal the Sivir. That's first blood going over to Aiming. Not sure whether we're certifying that Zeri moment, but it's certainly bad news for FREDIT BRION.
Yeah, it is a beginning of things to come, let's say, potentially here, and okay, shove.
Nice little flick there onto Lava, who does have to walk across the rocks, but thankfully he's not dashing across the rocks. Always very dangerous to do so. Don't dash across rocks.
No, it's very rough. I've been playing Death Stranding recently, and It's also kind of a thing you don't want to be running near those rocks. Rocks are never looked scarier in my whole life than when I'm playing that game. But
that is one game that makes me jealous of PlayStation owners. Because I am not one of those. I have been too much of a Nintendo purist over the years. And so therefore missed out on a lot of those real good ones.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. But it's taken away my Xenoblade time a little bit too.
Yeah, which is a problem.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. But talking about that bottom side pick, of course, this was really just, I mean, KT have controlled vision bottom side this whole game. And when you're Henna out this far and you don't have any vision, you can just get punished like this. A Skarner just rushing at you and picking you out of the lane against the Zeri with no support nearby is not something I expected. It wasn't on my bingo card.
No.
You know?
Ooh, another shove, as Lava is just spending a lot of time dancing through the air. They do clear out the minion wave, however, Shelly should be able to come in and still be able to collect a couple of these plates as Lava does get on over and secures himself his share. Aiming now dealing with this minion wave heading towards him as, okay, FREDIT BRION looking for a potential dive, but they decide not to go towards it. The rest of KT were rotating down as Vikla's also going to cycle through some summoner spells. And Cuz gets his Chem Tank. So that is going to help him with his phase rush. Of course,
100%.
It can certainly get better if you have all of these movement speed abilities. And the Inspire from the Karma, certainly something that can allow him to get in there much like a Predator can.
The Karma and the Talia here make it so much easier for Cuz to just find pretty consistent value with this Skarner. Speaking of which, like he comes over here, he's like, wait, there's no ward in here? Okay, this is a free kill.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sivir tries to spell shield, but you know, there's a lot of ways for that to just be taken away. You know, you don't get to hold that one.
Q while you walk up.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Skarner can sort of deny it.
So a nice try, Henna, but unfortunately, that's a death on the board. And yeah, he's ahead in CS, but Aiming picks up the money. And it's first blood in his pocket. So this next Drake fight here is definitely one that KT doesn't have to take again necessarily, but they have teleport, not unleashed. They could try to force this, but I think you just slowly contest, and if FREDIT BRION make a mistake, Zeri gets her certification. And if they don't, then you can say, okay, you have a 2 Drake lead, but our power is later on in this game.
Yeah, I don't think they need to worry too much about this. KT gave away 2 early Drakes last game as well, and then decided to turn things on.
If you grab someone.
Cuz is running pretty quickly. Zenith Blade does get over on top of the Skarner, who's taking a lot of damage. The ulti comes through from the Poppy as well. That's going to secure that one. Is now Aiming by himself, has to dash over the wall. Vikla, Weaver's wall to get himself back to the fighter's life, has to flash away. Rascal's going to turn up, but he is way too late to this battle as the Realm Warp comes on through as well. FREDIT BRION, they are not done with this one, as Vikla does make it underneath his turret, and so therefore FREDIT BRION will back away, but they are bloodthirsty right now.
That was a really good call from Delight to look for that engage onto Cuz, and Cuz actually ends up impaling the Leona, which is, you know, leads to not good things for KT, let's just say, is he would have loved to impale one of the critical members of FREDIT BRION in this fight, one of the damage dealers. He impales Leona because he's trying to actually trade back a kill. He's stuck there. He's at low health. He's like, I'm probably going to die if I don't impale him right now. And he gets the wrong target. It's not the target he wants, but this is a really good force from FREDIT BRION. And KT were hoping, like I said, for the certification of the Zeri in this game. Like, if we actually get a miracle fight here, which you don't need to take, but if you win it, it's probably a miracle. I mean, look at Vikla's angle here. Gets a shove, but he's on a completely different page. He's knocked away. No Weaver's wall to cut this team in half. Steadfast presence here from Umpty. Nice attempt to lock Aiming down. The Weaver's wall, of course, used to join up. They weren't actually ready to cut this team in half or have a Ornn ultimate. Like, the Ornn Horn isn't there because he doesn't have Unleashed. Like I mentioned, he had teleport. He teleports in. Then he's like, oh, the fight's over. Unfortunate. And KT is really uncoordinated in a moment where you can lose this game if you give FREDIT BRION too many more of these skirmish fights.
Yeah.
That you don't absolutely have to force.
And also, I mean, FREDIT BRION's composition, it's very similar to what they had in game number 1. Donkey Whistle, certainly right there for Henna. Can just press that go button. You got a super speedy Leona who can pick a target and lock them down. Of course, Aiming does have the cleanse available, so they'll need a little bit of added CC, but on the hunt plus Gwen, I mean, that is just a lot of chase down potential as FREDIT BRION are looking for Shirley. should be able to collect this one as well, as Lava is just hanging out here towards the bottom side, trying to stop this turret from falling. No turrets to be taken from either side just yet, but you can see FREDIT BRION otherwise with full control of the neutral objectives. 2 Drakes and soon to be 2 Rift Heralds as well.
Yeah. This is very similar to what happened last game, of course, in terms of the objective control for FREDIT BRION. But, you know, last time there was a FREDIT Collie running around the Rift. We saw a Miracle Steal. Aiming, you know, was ready to have that Baron fight to go into his favor. The game state here for KT is very different this time around because, yes, there is no FREDIT Collie, so that's somewhat concerning in terms of the side laning for this Gwen, who can feel very comfortable going up against this Ornn. But they have an Ornn, and they have a front-to-back team fighting composition that has a front line, has pick potential, and so I feel much better about KT's situation this time around than the last, despite FREDIT BRION having a gold lead here in that objective lead, because there is a backbone for the Zeri this time around.
Yeah, and the Zeri already has the kill, like you mentioned. First Blood was picked up, so that, you know, close to, you know, it's 23 CS, so it's a decent margin here that Henna does have an advantage. But it is mitigated a little bit by that kill coming through. Does now have his shield bow completed as well. It's going to need a bit more time to lock down his Phantom Dancer and IE. And then the Zeri will just be Zeri. And we know that Aiming, very good at being Zeri. He did it in the last game. He's been doing it all season whenever he's been given the opportunity. And FREDIT BRION this time around have given him 2 opportunities. And it seems to me like FREDIT BRION are okay with this Sivir matchup, but we just didn't see it out of Henna. We didn't see the reasoning. And I want to see it this time around. I want FREDIT BRION and Henna especially to have a better game. Yeah,
Henna, he just has not been able to pop off when he's been empowered to do so. And we talked about it a lot. We have to keep mentioning it because if it was another 80 carry, you know, 2-1 on the Sivir Kraken Slayer online, you'd feel a lot better about the control that FREDIT BRION have over this game. We just haven't been able to build up that trust for Henna this year, this season in particular. It's Morgan up here on the top side again, a lot of control. This next Drake that spawns in 1 minute time is the Mountain Soul point for FREDIT BRION. So KT will not be able to avoid this fight. So hopefully it will not be a lackluster setup for them walking into a choke point, and they'll actually have everything set up the way it needs to be. Rascal doesn't look like he's going to have teleport in time, unfortunately, because he used it in the last one.
Well, Cuz can just impale if he would like to, but instead they're just going to stun one another and then move away. I do like not using it on the Leona, because she is not a priority target. You've got 30 seconds on this Drake, and that would mean that they wouldn't have that available.
And, of course, Rascal, in fact, will have his teleport available, forgetting I did that he used it at the last Drake spawn, so the timing of this will just barely work out for him, so he could stay up here and could teleport in. This Rift Herald, once again, just like last game, used to try to set up for Soul Point Prio. Yeah. AT, this is a much more dire situation than the last one if you mess this fight up.
Yeah, they're trying their very best to deny it, and it's not going to charge. Very, very sad. As FREDIT BRION were trying to use it just to get some control of this Drake area. Yes, they do have that. They're not going to be able to give Shirley too much meaning to her life, which is, you know, not great for Shirley.
All right, KT, Morgan's on the flank angle. Realm Warp comes through.
Yeah, Realm Warp to deliver them onto this dragon very, very effectively. KT right over here, though. Weaver's Wall going to come through. That will split up this fight somewhat. And we don't get the Ram's return. Great double knock-up, though, however, and Rascal's still going to find the value. But now Henna's able to get those autos through. Life is going to fall down. Aiming, this is not the Zeri moment that you wanted to have, as Vikla will be able to secure the kill onto Henna, who just overextended into this team. Now Umpty has to flash to get himself out of the way, but Rascal now finds himself in the back of this pit with no options. And FREDIT BRION, they win out the fight. Aiming, he didn't fall down, but the rest of his team fell like dominoes.
Yeah, and this time around, I don't know if there's going to be a Miracle Baron that gets taken right after here from KT ROLSTER. And also this time, they don't steal the Drake. And drawing a lot of parallels to the last game as Aiming's to look for a steal.
That was very strange. Aiming's able to get himself over the wall and does not die, but Steadfast Presence, yeah, mitigates that one quite comfortably.
He also expended his cleanse there, so I get the idea. He's looking for a steal away of a kill. He's like, I hope I can actually grab this Poppy, grab some extra gold. But look, this fight is really well set up here for KT in its outset. But notice that Henna, once this wall falls down, is able to just do insane amounts of damage completely untouched. Rascal used all of his CC on FREDIT BRION's front line that was on the left side of the Weaver's Wall, but there was no peeling whatsoever for this Ornn for the Henna angle, who does a ton of damage. And now FREDIT BRION, Soul Point, a huge team fight win. Aiming, he doesn't die, but he doesn't pick up any kills either. And now this is going to be a lot of map control here for FREDIT BRION, a ton of money.
Yeah, 4,000 gold, and now Henna has like a full item lead approximately, right? I mean, it's Zeal in comparison to Phantom Dancer as far as the item difference, which is pretty large this time for the Sivir.
Phantom Dancer is huge, not for its stats, but because of its passive. The Spectral Waltz is looking for an angle here.
Yeah, Morgan likely to get impaled, as just nothing doing here. Morgan is okay. He's going to be immune for a moment. Umpty's going to turn up here, and Morgan, he bought enough time. Vikla not going to be so lucky. Life wiped from the map. And KT, I mean, this I don't think the Skarner pick's working out for this game.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, Atlas. And once again, teleport is available here, so you have to respect this. The damage output that FREDIT BRION have at this point with the lead they have is massive, and now you've just given them over a free Baron. Cuz has Hex Flash, but he's too late.
Yep, it's going to be taken by Henna as an Extendo Beam came across, so that was close. However, FREDIT BRION obviously weren't nervous whatsoever. I understand what you're saying in chat, I assume.
Something Giga Chad, yeah.
Something, don't even need to worry about calculating the smite, Giga Chad, something like that.
Yeah, as the amount of control they had before they turn this top side and win that fight with teleport is massive, but now they've gotten extra kills and a Baron. Look at where everybody is here as well for FREDIT BRION when this happens. Everybody's already rotating up. Like, they're not alone here. Umpty and Delight are both already on their way up. Henna can teleport in because he took teleport on the Sivir again, which is so valuable. And you can't win these longer fights. Aiming is not there. And you're looking for a 2v1 on a champion that can go immune. Yeah, she's one of the hardest to pick like this. So now you've just given over Baron. And like you said, Extendo Beam is somewhat annoying here. Hopefully we don't watch the whole exchange there. We do not. But they still secure it. You know, they have Smite. There's no Cuz angle, unfortunately. And, man, FREDIT BRION, this lead is insurmountable.
This lead is absolutely gigantic. As you can see, 2.5K for all the carries. No worries there whatsoever. And KT, I mean, I don't even think this is like a tough hill to climb or anything. I think this game might just be over.
I think so.
8,000 gold the lead for FREDIT BRION.
There's no way for Zeri to actually, with the deficit she's in right now, carry a team fight. And even if Ornn gets a huge knock-up, it won't matter necessarily if they can't kill these carries, and there's two of them, because the Rise is now well and truly online.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the Sivir that's extremely fed this time around.
Well, Rascal gonna have to try and deal with Morgan here.
2 levels down.
Yeah, just hanging out underneath this turret, but he will get impaled and pulled all the way back. Life is gonna collect that kill, and the Lord will perish in this moment. However, he was split pushing, he was doing his job. And now FREDIT BRION, yeah, a bit of tempo taken away. Not exactly the greatest of maneuvers, but they'll shake it off. I reckon they'll be fine.
Aiming doesn't grab the kill either, unfortunately. It goes over to Life. So just insult to injury, unfortunately. Still a successful pick here for KT. But with the timing of Morgan respawning, they'll still be able to contest for Soul. And he has teleport. So KT, not a whole lot of options here. All waves are pushed. They have no prio. So despite getting a pick, there's just no angle for them coming back in this game. Like, they'll need several more of these, and there's just no time because FREDIT BRION are getting these Drakes so fast, so early on in the game. It's going to be an extremely fast Soul. FREDIT BRION and their wins recently, they just love to take these Drakes early, force fights around them. They set up for their objective control. That's been, historically speaking, FREDIT BRION's best trait is Drake control of not even Soul fights, it's elemental Drakes in the early game. And now I think they've kind of mastered how to get ahead with these tempo-based comps. They didn't want the Zeri, they want the Sivir. They want to have a lead on these Drake fights, and yes, Morgan does get a bit greedy here. Umpty is not with him, so he does get impaled, doesn't know where Cuz is. There's not really a whole lot of counterplay here. Cuz just flashes on you, takes you out, but it's still not going to change the overall game state, because guess what? He's back, spawned up, and ready to go for this Soul they've already picked up in line.
Yeah, exactly. So the Mountain Soul going to be collected here, and so if it wasn't going to be a Lord Dominic's Regard third item for aiming, it now certainly should, and that is going to delay the Infinity Edge even further. Rascal not looking as tanky as he otherwise would be, as that Lord Dominic's has been already completed by Henna. He is a long way ahead as Morgan now just going to get to work here on the top side. Bottom lane, too dangerous. You know, got impaled too much. Too many Scorpions down there. He's going to go top lane instead. Only has to deal with Vikla. And even then, he's going to slink off into the jungle.
And without, if he goes LDR, like you mentioned, aiming, going for Lord Dominic's, and he doesn't have the Infinity Edge, the damage that he could do in these fights is so limited. And also, Extendo Beam is going to be hurt by this, plus the fact that shields will exist against it. So there's not really a poke angle like there was last game for aiming. And he didn't really have much of a poke angle until he was given one on Baron fight that he won't be given this time around. So, you know, we saw, I think, the way better KT draft this time around, but taking a poor fight gives FREDIT BRION such a domino effect of a lead that KT are, I mean, they can't even get picks anymore. They're that far behind.
And it's also, once again, I mean, KT took away the Karma pick, and I guess this is something that has been working in scrims, but it didn't work for Delight last time around. Delight now on the Engage champion. It really does feel like FREDIT BRION have a lot more coordination in these fights, because the players that have been making all of the plays so far this season it's been Umpty and Delight almost every single time, and now they both have agency in order to do so. So even though KT, they've got a team fighting draft, FREDIT BRION just have a better one for them. Not necessarily better on paper, I don't think, but it is definitely better for them.
Yeah, they used it better, and KT deciding to fight on that second Drake, I think, was really the first domino that falls over. And it's frustrating to watch if you're a KT fan, because you know this team is the stronger team of these two. You know this is the better draft of the two today in terms of a well-rounded composition that empowers Zeri. But they took the wrong fight when they're not spiking against a comp that is spiking. Like, this happens so often. The very few losses Zeri have, they usually look like this, where something went really wrong in the early mid-game. They fell too far behind. They lost map control. And you really have to understand the timings to fight and where your win condition is. It looked like KT just thought, okay, we're a better team, and if Aiming gets 3 kills right here, we could certify the Zeri moment, and the game is over. Because if they win that, yeah, the game is probably over. But you don't have to take that risk. You don't have to flip that coin.
Yeah, Delight going to get slowed down here. Extendo Beam just to spy out the jungle as the sweeper was used. Control ward plonked down there as Life is going to remove it and put it down here. So Baron, pretty invisible right now for KT. FREDIT BRION with so much control of the pit as, okay, Turbo Skarner going to be moving towards Umpty here. But he's got the Keeper's Verdict. He's ready to go to battle. And him and Delight, like we were saying, the engaged duo, just standing here stalwart. They're just the bodyguards of the Baron pit. And they're going to start this one off.
Talia hits level 16. A lot of damage potential here.
Okay, Keeper's Verdict is now on cooldown. KT, get the information, as that is a beautiful flick onto Delight. Cuz not going to be able to get in there and actually punish. And Delight will be allowed to go home.
Talia plus the Extendo Beam, even though it's into Mountain Soul, it's a lot of damage in these choke points, and you have to be really respectful of the fact that you could just get Seismic shoved in if you are the support. Even the Leona is not going to be able to tank that one up forever, and you could find yourself taking a 4v5 fight for the Baron. As KT, I think, realizing very quickly how this comp has to be played now. They have 3 ornaments online, so that's shoring up some of the issues in terms of the lack of gold they have right now. They're 8,000 behind. I'm really trying to struggle. I'm squinting my eyes hard to see the angle here.
I mean, Infinity Edge was just done.
Yeah,
Lord Dominic's LDR there, so it's a double Mountain Drake, Mountain Soul, so there's a fair bit more tankiness to get through.
Yeah. You know, the longer the fights go, though, that Infinity Edge value is going to go up, and we'll still be quite strong here. But it's really just about, can you set up a fight?
Well, Heroic Charge going to come through here as Solar Flare connects as well, cuz they're just trying to blow him up, and they will do so. Lava suffering the same fate, almost, as he does run it out. He's limping, though, as we've got the battle between Morgan and Rascal being won by Morgan. Of course, in the side lane, Gwen's always going to take that one, but Rascal is at least still stopping that inhibitor from going down.
Can teleport in once he backs here, not going to be interruptible, and I think FREDIT BRION is going to pull the trigger here. 20 seconds to go with Cuz on the respawn. There's the teleport through. KT, you have to force something. You can't give this up, or the game is lost.
Yeah, well, there's the Seismic Shove, aiming, throwing the Extendo Beam through, and that's all they got. They can't get vision, they can't get control, they have no jungler, so they can't smite it away. I mean, Vikla could have switched over to it with his spellbook, but that would have been a one-way mission, and they may have just lost the game anyway. There are 25 seconds on the Elder, and I think that KT have that on their mind instead.
If you don't fight for the Baron here, okay.
Great little flick there onto Umpty. KT lands another one of those. They're going to be happy about it, as Shirelia's going to be used. Although I believe that was actually just the Mantra Inspire. Yeah, Shrelia is not on cooldown just yet as Cuz flashes, gets the Impale, and now they're trying to lock down Umpty. They will be able to get that kill, but can they win the team fight? As Aiming trying to keep himself safe. He jet sets over the wall, and he will be okay for now, but the Sivir damage is absolutely real. Vikla gonna have to munch through some of that honey fruit, and now is looking for a return to base. He did manage to reapply his teleport.
Teleport's back up. He wants to stick around a little bit longer. Realm Warp avoided here.
Yeah, the Realm Warp actually was going to be fantastic at stopping Vikla from being able to make it back in. Cuz now looking for Delight. Rascal trying to be that frontline. Extendo Beam is all that Aiming's really offering to this fight right now. And the Sivir just picks up 2 kills. In the meantime, Morgan is just taking matters into his own hands, running into the mid lane. Aiming. Yeah, he hasn't died this game, but the Nexus is going to, and FREDIT BRION are going to take us to a game number 3, Wolf.
If it was an even game state, KT played that so well, and the things we could say about their fight for this neutral objective were massive, but they're just too far behind. There's too many angles for FREDIT BRION.
Exactly right, and Delight is like giving Aiming his little mini Zeri moment while his Nexus is being destroyed. FREDIT BRION fight back in game number 2. They stick to the same draft, and they're like, oh, we just made a few mistakes.